For this evening's first race, first half of the early daily double, a conditioned pace of 1 mile, a purse of $2,700, offering exactas and tries as well, a field of 10, no changes. Number 1 is Fancy Mart. The lessee is also the trainer Dale Whipple of Hopkinsville, Kentucky, with Dallas Miller up. Number 2 is Fun Time Go Getter, owned by the FTF Incorporated of Johnstown, Ohio, trained by Ron Potter with Kyle Later at the lines. Number 3 is Presidential Bowl, owned by Dupler, and Sutermeister and Metters. They're all of the Buckeye State, trained by Mike Metters with Jamie Dunlap. Number 4 is Sam Storm, owned and trained by Sam Noble Jr. of Cedarville, Ohio, with Dan Noble at the lines. Number 5 is Galvano Scooter, owned by the Walls Brothers Stable of Richwood, Ohio, trained by James Ferguson with Bob Harper. Number 6 is Mystical Cam, owned by the Reed Racing Stable of Newark, Ohio, trained and driven by Dean Collins. Number 7 is Fort Herod, owned by Fountain Valley Farm of Danville, Kentucky, trained by Kevin Thomas with Jeff Ace Nicesonger. Number 8 is Neutron Jack, owned by Gilmore, Rogers, and Batchy Jr. They're of Ohio and Florida, trained and driven by Ricky Heitman. From the outside of the 9 is Sports Center, owned by the first race. Condition pacers are all moving in behind the gate. A full field of 10 swings to the backstretch to kick off the early daily double from Scioto Downs. Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and stepping out of there for the lead. There goes the 5 Galvano Scooter. Right alongside is Sam Storm. From the inside of there is Fancy Mart, who's coming away in third. From off the second tier, Dirty Dreamer has come away in fourth. Dropping in 5 is Fun Time Go Getter. A gap at 2 and 6th is Presidential Bull. 7th is Mystical Cam. 8th along the inside is Fort Herod. 9th that is Neutron Jack. In 10th and trailing the field is Sports Center. And Fountain can see them all as they step towards the opening quarter. The opening quarter came and went in 27 and 1/5, and Galvano Scooter on the front end here for Harper, leading it by a length and a quarter. Along the inside, Sam Storm is going along in 2. Fancy Mart is unhurried in 3rd. Dirty Dreamer is still right there at the pylons, racing in 4th. Fun Time Go Getter in 5. 6th along the inside, Presidential Bull. Starting up from the back of the pack in 7th is Mystical Cam, is towing along Fort Herod on the outside, racing in 8th. 9th on the inside, Neutron Jack in 10th and trailing the field, but a swing to the outside there is Sports Center as they stepped off the half in 57 and 1/5. A second panel of 30 seconds flat. Off the turn and heads are pointed towards 3/4, and Galvano Scooter is being joined by Sam Storm, who's up to pressure the pace on the outside, racing in 2. A gap of 2 lengths, racing in 3rd. That is Dirty Dreamer. To the inside in 4th is Fancy Mart. Another gap of 2, racing in 5 is Fun Time Go Getter. 6th is Presidential Bull. 7th that is Mystical Cam. 8th to the outside of there, Fort Herod, as they wheeled by 3/4 in 1:24 and 1/5. Backside 27 seconds flat. Onto the front end we go, and Galvano Scooter with the lead here. Sam Storm is still right there along the inside, and now to the outside. Here comes Dirty Dreamer off the turn in less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Galvano Scooter with the lead. Dirty Dreamer is coming to him and coming onto the outside. To the inside, Galvano Scooter, Dirty Dreamer, Galvano Scooter, gate to wire. Finishing second was the 10, Dirty Dreamer. Third was the 6, Mystical Cam. The time of the mile, 1:53, 4/5, Galvano Scooter and a new markers she'll do throughout the evening. Here's the 5 Galvano Scooter, a 7-year-old bake outing by OK By out of a Galvano. She by Honkin' Auntie. So by the Wall Brothers Stable of Richwood, Ohio, trained by James Ferguson. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Bob Harper. Posting the 5th win in 2003, home and a new lifetime mark, 1:53, 4/5, Galvano Scooter and Bob Harper, now your official winner. 5:10 exacta, 61.40, 5:10 6 try, 2:37.40. Kathy Hawk brings him out for this evening's second race. Condition pacers of 1 mile, a purse of $3,000. Exactas in tries, a field of 9, no changes. Presenting the field, the 1 is Fire 1 and 2, owned and trained by Tommy Lee Smith of Lebanon, Ohio, with Tony Hall up. Number 2 is Evil Tricks, owned by John Sugar of Columbus, Ohio, trained and driven by Sandy Beatty.
Number 3 is All Shade, owned by Bryden Baugh, the Diamond Chip Stable in Mogan. They're all the Buckeye State, trained by Scott Mogan with Brett Miller at the lines. Number 4 is House of Sam, owned by Patricia Soulsby of Palo, Ohio, trained and driven by Rick Shout. Number 5 is Western Genius, owned by the FTF Incorporated of Johnstown, Ohio, trained by Ron Potter with Danny Noble. Number 6 is Instigator, owned by James Petticelli of Haledon, New Jersey, trained by Dan Ader. Kyle Ader is up. Number 7 is Jate Rules, owned by Jerome Grogan of Cincinnati, Ohio, trained by Calvin Wright with Trent Tharps at the lines. Number 8 is Civil War, owned by Richard Elwood of Lancaster, Ohio, trained by Rick Hartman with Jamie Dunlap. And for the outside of the 9 is Cabana Kid, owned by Cohen, Mindlin, and Gross. They're of Ohio and Pennsylvania, trained by Sam Coven, Jeff Fout, and the Sulky.
Being sent on their way. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the inside. Middle of the track, there's the 5 Western Genius. From the inside, there is Aw Shade. Driving up from the outside, there is Instigator. Away in 4, that is Fire 1 and 2. Got to the outside in 5, that is Civil War. Along the inside in 6th is Evil Tricks. 7th is House of Sam. Dropping in, racing in 8th, that is Jate Rules. And 9th and chilling the field is Cabana Kid, and Fount can see them all as they step over to the first quarter and up from the outside. Instigator and Kyle Ader to grab control of the racetrack, leading them through an opening quarter of 27 seconds flat as they scamper by the stands for the first time and head on down to the half. An Instigator with the lead here by a length and a quarter. Along the inside, Western Genius is nose to helmet racing in 2. Aw Shade races third. Fire 1 and 2 is racing in 4th. 5th there is Civil War. 6th on the inside, Evil Tricks. A tip to the outside in 7th is Jate Rules. 8th along the inside there as they race around the clubhouse turn. That is House of Sam. And 9th and trailing the field, but into the cover flow is Cabana Kid as they reach the half in 57 seconds flat. A second panel of 30 seconds. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 with Instigator leading the way here by a length and a quarter. Right there, still nose to helmet in 2nd. That is Western Genius. First over on the outside, racing in 3rd. That is Fire 1 and 2. Locked in at the rail, racing in 4th. That is Aw Shade. 2nd over on the outside, perfectly placed there. That is Evil Tricks. And 3rd over on the outside in 6th is Jate Rules as they go by 3/4 in 1:26 and 1/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. An Instigator to the inside. Western Genius is basically running him over there and now comes to the outside and up 3 wide. Evil Tricks to the top of Power Alley. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Western Genius strikes the front end here. Evil Tricks is coming to him and coming on to the inside. Western Genius, Evil Tricks on the outside. At the wire it's going to be Western Genius in front. Finishing 2nd was the 2 Evil Tricks. 3rd was the 8 Civil War. The time of the mile 1:54 4/5. Western Genius in a new lifetime she by Tyler B. Sold by the FTF Incorporated of Johnstown, Ohio. Trained by the red hot Ron Potter. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Dan Noble. Number 5 Western Genius. 1:54 4/5. Early double 5-5, 72-40, 5-2 exacta 68-80, 5-2-8 try, $1,759 even. Your attention to the winner's circle area with the president and general manager of Scioto Downs, Ed Ryan, the assistant general manager, Jerry Kalb, the director of racing, Stacy Christie, and the publicity and marketing department here at Scioto Downs, director Jason Zielinski. Started his career in his early 20s. Was under the tutelage of Joe Marsh from the Findlay area. Those two quickly exited for Chicago. Jeff Fout is the only leading driver at all 4 commercial racetracks in the Buckeye State. Received his 4,000th winning drive here on Wednesday evening at Scioto Downs behind Falkirk. That on Wednesday evening. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the newest member of the 4,000 Club. Let's give a nice round of applause to Jeff Fout. Also in the winner's circle to make that trophy presentation to Jeff Fount, the Vice President of Scioto Downs, Mrs. Laverne Hill. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's give it another nice round of applause to the newest member of the 4,000 Club, Jeff Fount. Congratulations, Jeff.
Horses are on the track and part of the pose for the third race. Condition pace of 1 mile, a purse of $4,200. Exact as in tries. Scratch the 4, Noble Thor Sick. A driver's change on the 6, Rigatoris. The driver is Brett Miller. Number 1 is Laughing as an Art, owned by Gail Potter of Bucyrus, Ohio, trained by John Ackley with Bob Harper. Number 2 is Albion What Punctual, owned by Jay Sears of Deerfield Beach, Florida, and George Brody of Hudson, Florida, trained and driven by Jay Sears. Number 3 is Call Me Jate, owned by the Oldfield Farm Incorporated of Sand Creek, Michigan, trained by Richard Oldfield with Tony Hall. The 4, Noble Thor, is out sick. Number 5 is Casino Charlie, owned by Ronald and Douglas Breckler of Mount Vernon, Ohio, trained by Scott Mogan. Dan Noble is up. The 6 is Rigatoris, owned by Melby Phillip Ober Jr. of Cable, Ohio, trained by J. Doug Lowe with the driver's change to Brett Miller. Number 7 is Jack's brother Joe. The lessee is also the trainer Patrick Landis of Lebanon, Ohio. Jeff Fount is up. The 8 is Infirmerator, owned and trained by Dan Ader of Clarksburg, Ohio. Kyle Waiter at the lines. And for the outside of the 9 is Fearless Sabra, owned by Amabel Patel, Springfield, Ohio, trained by Mike Lee. Jeff Nightsonger in the sulky.
Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the inside. There goes Laughing as an Art. Middle of the track, Call Me Jate is on the go along with Casino Charlie. Dropping in, racing in 4th, that is Albion What Punctual. Dropping in, racing in 5 is Fearless Sabra's placed forwardly there. 6th on the inside, that is Rigatoris. 7th along the rail, that is Jack's brother Joe. And 8th and trailing the field is Infirmerator in the very early stages here as they race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter. And Casino Charlie is rushing up for Dan Noble to take the opening quarter in 26 3/5. A very fast opening quarter for these. And on top of the field, Casino Charlie leads the way here by a length and a half. Call Me Jate is right there in the garden spot, racing in 2. Laughing as an Art is racing in 3rd. First over on the outside in 4th. Here comes Fearless Sabra as they race around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. From the inside, Casino Charlie is calling the shots. Up on the outside, Fearless Sabra is right there at the leader's wheel disc in 2. Along the inside, Call Me Jate is watching over the dueling leaders from 3rd. Second over the outside in 4th. That is Jack's brother Joe as they pace the half in 57 4/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Double tiered. We got 4 in, 4 out as they race towards the 3/4 mile mark of the race. In Casino Charlie with the lead here by a length. Grinding it out. First over on the outside. Racing in 2 is Fearless Sabra. Along the inside, Call Me Jate is racing in 3rd. Ready to swing 3 wide down the backside. There's Jack's brother Joe, and he does so now. Out 4 wide. There is Infirmerator as they go by 3/4 in 1:26 4/5. Backside 29 seconds flat. And on to the front end we go. Casino Charlie, but Call Me Jate angles to the outside. Up on the outside there is Laughing as an Art. 4 wide to the outside, Infirmerator. Off the turn and less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Call Me Jate strikes the front end here. Jack's brother Joe and Infirmerator is charging hard on the outside. Call Me Jate on the inside. Infirmerator on the outside. Call Me Jate got the jump on him. Finishing second was the 8 Infirmerator. Third was the 1 Laughing as an Art. The top of the mile, 1:55 flat. Call Me Jate. Trackside of the winner's circle, the unofficial winner of the third race. Condition pace, timed at 1:55 flat. Recording his second win here in 2003, his 4th win in his career. Here's the 3, Call Me Jate. A 3-year-old brown gelding by Jate Lobel out of a Weeby Fast Mare. She by Bruce Gimbel. Some of the Oldfield Farm Incorporated of Sand Creek, Michigan. Trained by Richard Oldfield. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Tony Hall. Number 3, Call Me Jate. Home winner in 1:55 flat. 3817 is now official. 3817 official. 38 exact is 7280. 381 try. 715 even.
Ladies and gentlemen, the horses are stepping onto the track for this evening's fourth race. This is the invitational pace of 1 mile, a purse of $10,000. Win place show, exacta trifecta, pick 3 wagering begins here. Scratch the 1, Bond Star in, judges. A field of 5. Number 2, Come On Morgan, owned by Jerry Sommers of Pickerington, Ohio, and Bruce Churches of New Albany, Ohio, trained by Mike Metters with Jamie Dunlap at the lines. Number 3 is Confirmed Winner, owned by the Dravo Maria Stables of Yonkers, New York, trained by Jeff Miller. Joe Adamski is up. Number 4 is Super Gizmo, owned by Blatchford, Presser and Presser. They're all of the Buckeye State, trained by Ron Potter with Dan Noble. Number 5 is Capital Request, owned by the Capital Acquired Stable of Frankfort, Ohio, trained by Dan Ader. Kyle Ader is at the lines. And for the outside of the 6 is Daisy's Boy, owned by Craig Colston of Springboro, Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Brett Miller, Ian the Sulky.
Confirmed winner, Super Gizmo, Capital Request, and Daisy's Boy on the outside. Field in motion. They're off and pacing and firing away from the outside. There goes Daisy's Boy, who's on the go. Super Gizmo is away in 2. Coming away, racing in 3rd, that is Come On Morgan. Away in 4th is Confirmed Winner. Away in 5 and trailing the field is Capital Request. Can see them all as they wheel by the opening 8th and pace over to the opening quarter. On top of the field, Daisy's Boy is carving out the fractions here. The team of Virgil Morgan Jr. and Brett Miller leads the way with Daisy's Boy. Along the inside, Super Gizmo is stalking in 2nd by the opening quarter in 27 seconds flat. They'll pass by the stands for the first time and head on down to the half, and Daisy's Boy at 5-2 leads it here by a length and a quarter. Super Gizmo is racing into, rolling under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining. Super Gizmo along the inside in 2. Come On Morgan races 3rd. Confirmed Winner Thrill is racing in 4th, and 5th and trailing the field is Capital Request as they wind around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. Daisy's Boy, and they're still in straight alignment here, reaches the half in 56 4 fifths. A second panel at 29 4. Off the turn and driving down the backside of the 1 to catch is Daisy's Boy, and let it throughout. Along the inside, Super Gizmo is pacing along nicely in 2nd. Come On Morgan races in 3rd. A gap of 2 in 4th. That is Confirmed Winner, and yet to move yet. That is Capital Request, and now he comes to the outside as they race towards the 3/4 mile mark of the race, and Daisy's Boy says, catch me if you can, boys. 3/4 in 124 2 fifths. Backside 28 seconds flat. They'll pace the final turn and head to the top of Heartbreak Lane. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Daisy's Boy with the lead here. To the inside, Super Gizmo is trying to come to him along with Capital Request. Come On Morgan to the outside, Confirmed Winner on the inside, but as they roll within the final 16th, Daisy's Boy, very impressive, gate to wire. Very close for second there. The time of the mile, 151 4 fifths. Daisy's Boy. 8 to wire, 151 4 fifths. Here's the 6, Daisy's Boy. A 5-year-old bake outing by Jenna's Beach Boy and of a Shady Daisy mare, she by Falcon Elmahers, or Falcon Sealster rather, owned by Craig Colston of Springboro, Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Brett Miller. Posting the 3rd win in 2003, home winner in 151 4, the 6, Daisy's Boy, Brett Miller.
Horses are stepping onto the track for this evening's 5th race. Condition pace of 1 mile, a purse of $3,500. Exactas and tries, a field of 9, no changes. The 1 is Positive Scooter, owned by Marvin Godown of Greenville, Ohio, trained and driven by the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. Number 2 is Truly Cam Star, owned by Schmidt Sr. of Pickerington, Ohio, and Schmitz, trained by Jim Daly, driven tonight by Bob Harper. Number 3 is Bell's Big Guy, owned by Marguerite Mesri of Zanesville, Ohio, trained by Herbert Mesri with Jeff Ace Nicehunger. Number 4 is Nonell, owned by Cockonish, Grand Falls, Ohio, and Taylor of Port Clinton, Ohio, trained by Tom Hall with Kyle Later at the lines. Number 5 is Caviar Jackson, owned by Judith Chafee and Clarence Chafee Jr. of Vienna, Virginia, trained by Jim Artledge Jr., the Hitman, Brett Miller. Number 6, Magic Dart, owned by Roger Morlock of Valley City, Ohio, trained by Jim Kiesel. Jeff Fout is out. The 7 is Noble Senator, owned by Marianne Kaufman of New Albany, Ohio, trained by Danny Collins with Dan Noble. Number 8 is Meadowland Big Sam, owned by Metters, Hoovler, and Sutermeister. They're all of the Buckeye State, trained by Mike Metters, Jamie Dunlap. And for the outside of the 9, Our General, owned by Reed Racing of Newark, Ohio, trained and driven by Dean Collins.
There to go. Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away from the inside. The first call goes to the 1 Positive Scooter in the K-Man, headed for Command Tier. Alongside that is truly Cam Star, driving up 3 wide there and looking for the lead. That is Meadowland Big Sam. Away in 4th, that is Bell's Big Guy. Away in 5 is Nonell. 6th on the inside, Caviar Jackson. 7th is Magic Dart. And the 2 trailers here are Noble Senator and Our General, and Dean Collins can see them all. As they step around the first turn and over to the opening quarter on top of the field, Meadowland Big Sam is clear to the front end tier through an opening quarter of 28 and 2/5 as they pass by the stands for the first time and head on down to the half. The punter's choice, Meadowland Big Sam on the front end tier, leading it by a length and a half. Along the pocket, racing into is Positive Scooter. Racing third, that is truly Cam Star. 4th, that is Bell's Big Guy. First to flush on the outside in 5 is Caviar Jackson. 6th on the inside, Nonell. Up on the outside of there, racing in 7th as they race around the clubhouse, turning on over to the halfway mile mark of the race. As they race towards the half, Magic Dart on the outside. They're halfway home, 58 and 1/5. A second panel at 29 and 4. Off the turn and setting sail down the backside. And Meadowland Big Sam continues to call the shots by a widening length and 3/4. Right there on the inside, racing into Positive Scooter is trying to go along with him. Up on the outside, first over and third, Caviar Jackson is advancing nicely at the leader. Along the inside, racing in 4th is truly Cam Star, gapping the cover to the outside in 5. That is Magic Dart as they wheel by 3/4 and 126 flat. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. Into the inside, Meadowland Big Sam is bracing himself for the oncoming power of Caviar Jackson, who is bearing down on the outside in 2. Off the turn and less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come, driving through Power Alley. Meadowland Big Sam with the lead here. To the outside, Caviar Jackson, Positive Scooter is storming here, but as they come to the wire, Meadowland Big Sam, gate to wire. Finishing second was the 1 Positive Scooter. Third was the 5 Caviar Jackson. The time of the mile, 1:54 flat. Meadowland Big Sam out of the Mike Metters stable for drivers Jamie Dunlap. Mike Metters, Donald Hoovler, and Tina Sutermeister. They're all of the Buckeye State. Trained by Mike Metters. Nicely handled here this evening. Gate to wire by winning driver Jamie Dunlap. Time of the mile, 1:54 flat. Established. Horses on the track, pretty the pose for the 6th race, claiming handicap pace of 1 mile, a purse of $4,500, a field of 8 with a scratch of the 1 Glenview Fritz Sink. Presenting the field, number 2 is Lapros Breeze In, owned by John Shattuck of Columbus, Ohio, trained by John Robinson with the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. Number 3 is Hit the Beach, owned by Joseph Shemaiah of Lexington, Kentucky, trained by Lamar Moody with Jeff Ace Nicehunger. Number 4 is Montana Stan, owned by Amanda Pietkus of Hilliard, Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Brett Miller. Number 5 is Chris Crombie, owned by Paul Edwin Swaney of Xenia, Ohio, trained by Tom Myers, Jim Shelton. The 6 is Bearcat Hanover, owned by Reed Racing of Newark, Ohio, trained and driven by Dean Collins. The 7 is Sam's Megabucks, owned by Wallace Osborne of Columbus, Ohio, trained by Mike Metters, Jamie Dunlap. Number 8 is Windbreaker, owned by Clarence You Can Call Me Sonny DeLong of Orient, Ohio, trained and driven by Bob Harper. And from the outside of the 9 is Miraculous Viking, owned by Carsey of Connorsville, Indiana, and Luther of Gahanna, Ohio, trained by Robert Carsey. Kyle Later in the sulky. Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and pushing the gate away. There goes the 6, Bearcat Hanover, right alongside. That is Sam's Megabucks. Driving out from the rail, there's Lavros Breeze. Away in 4th is Hit the Beach. On the inside in 5, that is Montana Stan. Away in 6th is Chris Crumby. And the 2 trailers here are Windbreaker and Miraculous Viking. Can see them all as they step around the first turn and over to the opening quarter. And Bearcat Hanover is leading the way here. Lavros Breeze has found the garden spot, racing in 2. Sam's Megabucks was tucked in 3rd by the opening quarter in 27 1/5. Away in 4th, that is Hit the Beach. Down along the inside in 5, Montana Stan. 6th is Chris Crombie. 7th along the rail, that is Windbreaker. And 8th, and trailing the field, Miraculous Viking. As they roll under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining and step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. On top of the field, Bearcat Hanover and Dean Collins calling the shots here by length and a quarter. Along the inside, Lavros Breeze and the K-Man is right there in the garden spot, racing in 2. Sam's Megabucks is racing in 3rd. First over on the outside, racing in 4th, Montana Stan. As they reach the half in 57 3/5. A second pintle at 30 2. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 and on top of the field, Bearcat Hanover. Along the inside, Lavros Breeze is racing in 2. Advancing up nicely there. First over the rim, racing in 3rd, Montana Stan. Along the inside in 4th, Sam's Megabucks. To the outside in 5 is Chris Crombie. As they reach the 3/4 mile mark of the race, 3/4 and 1:25 4/5. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. And Bearcat Hanover is trying to make every pull a winning one. Right there in the pocket, Lavros Breeze is now angled off the pylons and will take a shot at him from the pocket. Off the turn in less than 1/8 of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Bearcat Hanover is under siege. Lavros Breeze is coming to him and coming on. Bearcat Hanover to the inside. Lavros Breeze, and the K-Man is getting up with Lavros Breeze in front. Finishing second, Bearcat Hanover. 3rd was the 4, Montana Stan. The top of the mile, 1:54 flat. Lavros Breeze.
Trackside of the winner's circle, the official winner of the 6th race. Claiming handicap pace, stopping the teletimer in 1:54 flat. Here's the 2, Lavros Breeze. An 8-year-old bay gelding by Tight Connection out of a Udamare. She by Smooth Fella. Zoned by John Shattuck of Columbus, Ohio. Trained by John Robinson. Nicely handled here this evening by the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. Number 2, Lavros Breeze. Pick 3, 3 of 3, 1:16.20. 2.6 exacta, 54.40, 2.64 try, 1:48 even. Number 1 is Henry Clay, owned by James Thomas and Peter Allison of Ponte Vedro Beach, Florida. Trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Brett Miller is up. The 2 is Talk Forever, owned by Crouch, Breckler, Campbell, and Mogan, all of the Buckeye State. Trained by Scott Mogan with Dallas Miller. Number 3 is Crown Time Big Ben, owned by Esther Crownover of MacArthur, Ohio. Trained by Earl Owings with Kyle Ader. The 4 is Norman Feeney, owned by Leslie Lane of Ostrander, Ohio. Trained by Jim Pollock Jr. with the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. Number 5 is Falcon X, owned by Jerry Zozo of Columbus, Ohio, and Kathy Ratcliffe of Orient, Ohio, trained by Jim Daly with Sandy Beatty at the lines. Number 6 is Epps, owned by the Richard Shively Estate of Hamilton, Ohio, trained by Jim Artledge with Bob Harper. Number 7 is Moe's Muffler Shop, owned by Reed Racing of Newark, Ohio, and Mona Almond of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, trained and driven by Dean Collins. In for the outside of the 8 is Artilla, owned by Seymour of Boynton Beach, Florida, and Lindenberg of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, trained by Peter Foley with Jeff Ace Nightsonger.
Field in motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away. Middle of the track, there goes the 5 Falcon X right alongside of Moe's Muffler Shop. Driving up to be 3rd, that is Talk Forever. Away in 4th is Crown Time Big Ben. 5th on the inside is Henry Clay. 6th along the rail, that is Norman Feeney. 7th, that is Epps. And 8th and trailing the field is Artilla. And Ace Nightsonger can see them all. They're well spread out here as they are in single file formation over the opening quarter, being led by Moe's Muffler Shop here at 8-1 on the board. Leading them through an opening quarter of 20 27 and 1/5. They'll pass by the stands for the first time and head on down to the half with Moe's Muffler Shop on the front end here. Along the inside, Falcon X is nose to helmet racing in second, rolling under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining. Talk Forever races in third. Crown Time Big Ben to the inside is fourth. A gap of 3 lengths racing there in sixth. That is Henry Clay along the inside racing in seventh. That is Norman Feeney as they step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. They're halfway home in 56 and 1/5. A second pintle at 29 seconds flat. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Heads are pointed towards 3/4 with Moe's Muffler Shop calling the shots here. Along the inside, Falcon X is racing in two. First over on the rim, racing in third. Crown Time Big Ben, a move to the outside in fourth. Perfectly placed there. Second over on the outside, Talk Forever is four. To the inside, racing in five. That is Henry Clay. Third over on the outside in sixth is Norman Feeney. Seventh along the rail, Falcon X. And eighth and trailing the field. Fourth over there, Artilla. Through 3/4 and 124 and 2/5. They're beginning to bunch up here. Crown Time Big Ben to the front end. But now on the outside, Talk Forever now ready to swing 3 wide for the stretch drive. Norman Feeney off the turn to the top of Power Alley. Less than an eighth of a mile to go. And down the stretch they come. Talk Forever to the front end here to the passing lane. Falcon X is coming to him and coming on along with Norman Feeney, but at the wire, Talk Forever in front. Looked like Falcon X was second over the 4. Norman Feeney, the top of the mile, 153 4/5. Talk Forever and Dallas Miller out of the world champion Stand Forever out of a Summers Talk mare. She by Rocky Bogart. Owned by Crouch, Brett Clark, Campbell, and Mogan, all of the Buckeye State. Trained by Scott Mogan, very capably driven to victory by Dallas Miller. This is the 4th win in 2003. Home winner in 153 and 4. The 2, Talk Forever and Dallas Miller. 2.5 exacta, 149.40. 254 try, $1,611.40.
Home of the Jeff Miller stable of Haviland, Ohio, and Dorothy Miller of Delphus, Ohio, trained by Jeff Miller with Dallas Miller up. Number 2 is Mr. McGregor, home of the Winchester Bay Acres Incorporated of Powell, Ohio, trained by Daryl Hoosier with the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. Number 3 is Fritzy Cam, home of the Darby's Edge stable of London, Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Brett Miller. The 4 is Crown Time Connect, owned by Esther Crownover of MacArthur, Ohio, trained by Earl Owings with Jeff Ace Nicehunger. Number 5 is Uphill Battle, home of the Hartley Farms Incorporated and Paul Gillenwater. They're both of the Buckeye State, trained by Mark Gillenwater, Jeff Fout. The 6 is Silver Rush, owned by Scott Glandon of Frankfort, Ohio, trained by Dan Ader, Kyle Ader at the lines. Number 7 is Eddie Rocket, Jennifer Judy's Bacardi 03 Challenge pick here, owned and trained by Sam Noble Jr. of Cedarville, Ohio, with Dan Noble up. And for the outside of the 8 is Meadowland Tough Ted, owned by Hoover of Pataskla, Ohio, and Metters of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, trained by Mike Metters, Jamie Dunlap in the
field in motion. They're all fan pacing at a very nice start here. Flashing early foot from the middle of the track. There's the 5, Uphill Battle. Driving up from the outside, there is Eddie Rocket, and Eddie Rocket is crossing over to take the lead here. Uphill Battle yield for a garden spot right now, racing in 2. Along the inside in 3rd is World Harvest. Got to the outside in 4th is Fritzy Kim, who's driving on. Along the inside in 5 is Mr. McGregor. Duck and Tuck in 6th, that is Silver Rush. And the 2 trailers here are Crown Time Connect and 8th and trailing the field, Meadowland Tough Ted. As they step by the opening quarter in 27 and 1/5. They'll scamper on past the stands for the first time and head on down to the half. And Fritzy Cam and Brett Miller has placed this one on the front end here at 1-2, rolling under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining. And Fritzy Cam leads the way here as they step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half. Along the inside, racing into, that is Eddie Rocket. Along the inside, racing in 3rd. That is Uphill Battle as they step towards the half. They're halfway home in 56 and 3/5. Off the turn and driving down the backside, and on top of the field, Fritzy Cam leads them down the backside, headed towards 3/4. Along the inside, racing in 2nd, that is Eddie Rocket. A gap of 2, racing in 3rd, that is Uphill Battle. First to flush and coming with a rush to the outside in 4th. Here comes World Harvest. To the outside, racing in 5, Silver Rush. Along the inside in 6, Mr. McGregor. 7th is Crown Time Connect, and 8th and trailing the field, Meadowland Tough Ted as they reach the 3/4 mile mark of the race. 3/4 and 124 4 3/5. Backside 28 seconds flat. They're pacing to the top of the stretch, and on top of the field, Fritzy Cam with the lead. Eddie Rocket is right there and ready to pounce on him for second as they turn to the top of the stretch. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Fritzy Cam has turned away all competitors here. Fritzy Cam is rolling on gate to wire. Finishing second was the Bacardi 03 Challenger Jennifer's Pick, Eddie Rocket. Third was the one World Harvest. The time of the mile, 1:52 flat. Fritzy Cam in a new
circle,
lifetime
the official
mark.
winner of the 8th race, condition pace, stopping the teletimer in a very impressive 1:52 flat to establish a new lifetime mark. The 10th win in 2003. Here's the 3, Fritzy Cam, a 6-year-old brown gelding by Cam Best out of a Lori's Diamond. She by No Nukes. Some of the Darby's Edge stable of London, Ohio, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Brett Miller. For conditioner Virgil Morgan Jr., that's 2 wins on this evening and 2 wins for the driver Brett Miller, giving them a conditioning double and a driving double here. Fritzy Cam, 1:52 flat. Here are the pacers. Number 1 is Come On VC Song, owned by Jerry Sommers of Pickerington, Ohio, trained by Mike Metters, Jamie Dunlap. Number 2 is This Old Art of Mine, owned by Reed Racing of Newark, Ohio, trained and driven by Dean Collins. Number 3 is Cole Pocket, owned by the Darby's Edge Stable and John Howard of Ohio and West Virginia, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Brett Miller. Number 4 is Sure Smart, owned by Winchester Bay Acres Incorporated of Powell, Ohio, trained by Daryl Hoosier with the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. Number 5 is Grandpa Ike, owned by Charter Bryant of Cleveland, Ohio, trained and driven by Tom Hall. Number 6 is Endless Endeavor, owned by Mary and John Arrowwood of Dayton, Ohio, trained by John Arrowwood with Kyle Latera. Number 7 is Keoki Cam, owned by David Roop of Jonesville, Virginia, trained by Ted Roop with Joe Adamski. And for the outside of the 8 is Luby Bluegrass, owned by Sidney Watkins and Robert Gordon of Dalhart, Texas, trained by David Yoder, Daniel Noble, Ian the Sulky.
Field in motion. Being set on their way. They're all fan pacing and firing away. Middle of the track, there goes the 4, Sure Smart. Right alongside, immediate inside, Cole Pocket. Driving up from the outside, there is Keoki Cam. Caught to the outside in 4th is Endless Endeavor. Along the rail, racing in 5, Come On VC Song. As they race around the first turn and over to the opening quarter, and Sure Smart by 2 out there, leading the way. Along the inside, Keoki Kama second, and up and out of the hole. Here comes Cole Pocket, and is looking for the lead by the opening quarter in 27 4/5, and Sure Smart to the K-Man. But up on the outside, Cole Pocket looking to take over and does so now. Cole Pocket being tracked by Sure Smart, Keoki Cam. Come On VC Song, This Old Art of Mine along the rail 5. Got to the outside, a long mile in 6th, Endless Endeavor, 7th along the rail there. That is Grandpa Eck in 8th and trailing the field, Luby Bluegrass. As they step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half, and Cole Pocket is now calling the shots, and he leads them through the half. They're halfway home in 58 seconds flat. A second pintle with 30-1. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Their long journey towards 3/4 has begun, and Cole Pocket is calling the shots, leading it by a length and a quarter. Sure Smart is still right there, nose to helmet, racing in 2. Come On VC Song is grinding it out. First over on the rim, racing in 3rd. Second over on the outside in 4th. Parked every step is Endless Endeavor. Keoki Cam is tracking them from 5th as they reach 3/4 in 1:26 flat. Backside 28 seconds flat, and Cole Pocket has begun to get away and opens up by 5 to the inside. Sure Smart could not stick with him in 2nd. Come On VC Song is 3rd. Off the turn to the top of the stretch. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and driving down the lane and on top of the field, Cole Pocket is absolutely rocking away from this field. Cole Pocket in front. Finishing second was Sure Smart, very close for 3rd. The time of the mile, 1:53 3/5. Cole Pocket and Brett Miller out of the Virgil Morgan Jr. stable. Brett Miller giving them both a triple. Time of the mile for Cole Pocket, 1:53 3/5. 3-4-8-1 is now official. 3-4 exacta, 1460, 3-4-8 try, 5:48.20.
A field of 10. Drivers change on the 7-star prospect, Tony Hall. The 1 is Gigabyte Bluegrass, owned by William Silcott of Orient, Ohio, trained by Karen Seifert with Bob Harper. The 2 is Noble Strike, owned by All Top of Urbana, Ohio, and Dingle Dine of Mechanicsburg, Ohio, trained by Jim Daly, Jim Shelton. The 3 is Grant Kiss Charm, owned by Richard Bolus of Phoenix, Arizona, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., Brett Miller. The 4 is Dot's Big Guy, owned by Joseph Shemaiah of Lexington, Kentucky, trained by Lamar Moody, Jeff Ace Nicehonger. The 5 is Stanley Lane. Scott Piney's Bud Light Long Shot of the Night is owned by Marvin Godown of Greenville, Ohio, trained and driven by Kane Kaufman. Number 6 is SF Patriot, owned by Sandra K. Hall of Chillicothe, Ohio, trained and driven by Justin Hall. The 7 is Star Prospect, owned and trained by David Lowe, Mechanicsburg, Ohio. Tony Hall is up. The 8 is GP's El Cid, owned by Gail Potter of Bucyrus, Ohio, and Claudia Peters of Delaware, Ohio, trained by Ron Potter with Dan Noble. From the outside of the 9 is Big Pan on Campus, owned by Scott George of Sunbury, Ohio, trained by John Schultz with Smilin' Joe Adamski. And scoring from off the second tier is number 10, Dockside, owned and trained by Robert Rogan of Bell Fountain, Ohio, Kyle Waiter, Ian the Sulky.
Motion. They're all fan pacing and firing away. Middle of the track, there goes the 4, Dots Big Guy. Driving up from the outside, there's the 7-star Prospect. Away in third is Gigabyte Bluegrass. Got to the outside in fourth, that is GP's El Cid, who is driving on. Fifth on the inside there, Noble Strike. Sixth along the rails, Grant Kiss Charm. Seventh from off the second tier, that is Dockside. Eighth is Staley Lane. The 2 trailers here are SF Patriot and Big Pan on Campus. Can see them all as they wind around the first turn and over to the opening quarter in 27 4/5. And out there on the front end, Star Prospect, and Tony Hall is trying to throttle this one down on the front end, leading it here by a length and a half. Dot's Big Guy and Ace Nicehonger along for the garden spot, racing in 2 along the inside. Gigabyte Bluegrass is first to flush, coming with a rush on the outside, towing along Grant Kiss Charm. Up on the outside in fourth, fifth on the inside, GP's El Cid. Swung to the outside in sixth, that is Dockside. Staley Lane is following that one in seventh as they step towards the half. They're halfway home in 58 2/5. A second panel of 30 3. Off the turn and driving down the backside, and Gigabyte Bluegrass sticks ahead in front, 3 parts of a length. Along the inside, racing in second, that is Star Prospect, and the earplugs are out on that one. Second over on the outside, racing in third is Grant Kiss Charm. Buried at the rail, racing fourth, that is Dot's Big Guy. To the outside, racing in 5, that is Dockside. Third over in 6, that is Staley Lane as they march towards 3 quarters in 127 flat. They'll pace the final turn and head for home. Into the inside with the lead, Gigabyte Bluegrass. Grant Kiss Charm is a menacing second up on the outside and ready to swing 3 high for the stretch drive. Here comes Dockside off the turn to the top of Power Alley. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Grant Kiss Charm has struck the front end here. Dockside is trying to come to him and is coming to him and coming on. Grant Kiss Charm, Dockside, Grant Kiss Charm in front. Finishing second was the 10, Dockside. Third was the 2, Noble Strike. The time of the mile, 1:56 1/5. Grant Kiss Charm, Virgil Morgan Jr. and Brett Miller have done it 4 times tonight. An 8-year-old bay horse by Bob Rickles out of a Charms Treasure. She by Treasure Reef. Is owned by Richard Bolus of Phoenix, Arizona. Trained by, guess who? Virgil Morgan Jr. Driven by, guess who? Brett Miller. That's 4 wins on this evening's program for trainer Virgil Morgan Jr. and the combination driver Brett Miller. Grant Kiss Charm, 1:56 1/5. 3:10 exacta, 2040, 3:10 try, 42:60.
Kathy Hawk parades him. The 1 is Playboy Sombra, owned by Charles and Christine Blankenship of Asheville, Ohio. Mike Lee trains, Daniel Noble drives. The 2 is Wild Legend, owned by Karen Walski and the American Racing Stable Limited Liability Company of Michigan, trained by Daniel Walski with Brett Miller. Number 3 is Good Goin' Sam, owned and trained by Dale Horney of Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Jeff Smith is up. The 4 is DS Noble, owned by Ruth Wofford of Peebles, Ohio, trained by David Abbott with Jeff Nicehonger. Number 5 is Powerful Sam, owned by James Grandstaff of Washington Courthouse, Ohio, trained by Dan Ader, Kyle Ader at the lines. The 6 is Hurricane Sam, owned by Greg Luther and Dream Stables, both of Ohio, trained by John Robinson. Jamie Dunlap is up. The 7 is Nick Austin, owned by the Bed Stables of Sunbury, Ohio, trained by Daryl Hoosier with the K-Man, Kane Kaufman. Number 8 is Carolina Bob, owned by Dick James of Lebanon, Ohio, trained by Tommy Smith. Bob Harper. From the outside of the 9 is Sharp Steve, owned and trained by John Perrin of Lebanon, Ohio. Sandy Beatty is up, and scoring from off the second tier, number 10, Noble Alex, owned by Jim Chaliffs of Cincinnati, Ohio, trained and driven by Ricky Heitman.
Field in motion. They're off and pacing and stepping out of there. Middle of the track, Powerful Sam from the inside. Playboy Sabra is on the go. Also, DS Noble is driving up to be third. Away in fourth is Wild Legend. Ducking in, racing in 5 is Good Going Sam. 6th from off the second tier is Noble Alex. 7th along the rail, that is Hurricane Sam, a gap of 4. Racing in 8th, that is Nick Austin. And the 2 trailers here are Carolina Bob and Sharp Steve. Can see them all. As they step towards the opening quarter came and went in very fast, 26 and 3/5, and Powerful Sam has seated DS Noble in the garden spot, racing in 2. Playboy Sabra along the inside is going along in 3rd as they roll under the wire with 5/8 of a mile remaining. 4th is Wild Legend. 5th is Good Going Sam, who decides to stay in there. First over on the outside, racing in 6th is Noble Alex. 7th along the rail, Hurricane Sam. The 3 trailers here as they step around the clubhouse, turning on over to the half, are Carolina Bob, Sharp Steve, and Nick Austin. As they reach the half, they're halfway home in 56 seconds flat. And Powerful Sam and Kyle Later still got him under a big hold here, leading it by a length and a half as they track down the backside. DS Noble along in 2nd. First over on the rim, racing in 3rd is Wild Legend. Buried at the rail in 4th is Playboy Sabra. 2nd over on the outside, racing in 5 as they head towards the 3/4 mile mark of the race. That is Noble Alex, and flipped up 3 deep. Here comes Hurricane Sam as they reach 3/4 in 1:24 and 2 fast. They'll pace the final turn and head for home, and Powerful Sam is trying to bottom out this field, but DS Noble has something in store for him and rolls to the outside, racing in 2 as they turn to the top of Heartbreak Lane. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Powerful Sam to the inside. DS Noble will take a shot at him from the pocket. It is coming to him and coming on as they roll within the final 16th. Powerful Sam, gate to wire. Finishing 2nd was the 4, DS Noble. 3rd was the 3, Good Going Sam. The time of the mile, 1:53 3/5. Powerful Sam and a new lifetime mark out of the Danator stable for driver Kyle Later. Circle, the official winner of the 11th race, number 5, Powerful Sam. A 4-year-old brown gelding by Noble and Sam out of a Kiss Power. She by Happy Motoring. Sold by James Grandstaff of Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Trained by Danator. Very nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Kyle Later. Stopping the teletimer in 1:53 3/5. Powerful Sam, and Kyle Later establishes a new lifetime mark. Powerful Sam powers home a winner. Is the Terrific Tao, owned and trained by John Perrin of Lebanon, Ohio, with Sandy Beatty. Number 2 is Helsa Sam, owned by the Shout Stable of Pompano Beach, Florida, trained and driven by Rick Shout. Number 3 is Cowboy Casino, owned and trained by Kenneth Drake of Delaware, Ohio. Jim Shelton is up. The 4 is Meadowland Shuffle, owned and trained by Eldon Combs of Oregonia, Ohio. Bob Harper. The 5, Chairman Stan A, is out sick. The 6 is Rover Relum, owned by Edwin Ellis of Cedarville, Ohio, trained by Lamar Moody with Jeff Ace Nicehonger. Number 7, Attack Mission, is out sick. The 8 is Satin Stance, owned by Karen Walski of Ida, Michigan, trained by Daniel Walski with Brett Miller. The 9, Rushing Call, is out sick. And number 10, scoring from off the second tier, is Studley Lamont, owned by Billy Joe Raleigh and Tommy Lee Smith of Kentucky and Ohio, trained by Tommy Smith, Tony Hall. In motion. They're all fan pacing in a very even start here, flashing some early speed, middle of the racetrack, driving out there for the lead. There goes Meadowland Shuffle. Along the inside, Helsa Sam has come away, racing in 2, dropping in 3rd. That is Cowboy Casino, racing 4th, the Terrific Chow. Caught to the outside in 5 as Satin Stance is driving on. 6th along the inside, Steadily Lamont, and 7th and trailing the field, that is Rover Relum, as they step towards the opening quarter and move by the opening quarter and on top of the field. Leading them through the opening quarters. Meadowland Shuffle 28 and 1/5. Satin stands up on the outside for Brett Miller, is looking to take the lead here and does so now. Satin stands to the front end. Meadowland Shuffle racing in second. Helsa Sam is racing in third. First over on the outside, racing in fourth. Studley Lamont towing along the Terrific Town to the outside in 5. Sixth along the rail and shuffled back way out of it. There is Cowboy Casino in seventh and trailing the field, and a swing to the outside of Rover Relum as they step towards the half. On top of the field, Satin Stance led them to the half in 58 and 2/5. A second panel with 30 and 1. Off the turn and driving down the backside. Their long journey towards three quarters begins now. On top of the field, Satin Stance with the lead here by a half. Grinding it out, Studley Lamont is right there on the outside, racing in 2. Watching over the dueling leaders from third. Meadowland Shuffle perfectly placed, second over the outside in fourth. The Terrific Towel buried at the rail in 5 is Helsa Sam to the outside, third over in 6th. That is Rover Relum in 7th, and trailing the field Cowboy Casino as they went by three quarters in 1:27 and 4/5. The tempo's been picked up here, and on top of the field, Satin Stance with the lead, about ready to pounce on him from second. Here comes Meadowland Shuffle. The earplugs are out on that one as they turn to the top of the stretch. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and down the stretch they come. Satin Stance to the inside. Meadowland Shuffle blows right on by. Now to the outside. Helsa Sam is coming to him and coming on along with Cowboy Casino at the wire. Meadowland Shuffle in front. Finishing second was Helsa Sam. Third was the 3 Cowboy Casino. Fourth, and to round out the super was the 8 Satin Stance. The top of the mile 1:57 flat to establish a new lifetime mark. Here's the 4 Meadowland Shuffle. A 4-year-old bake outing by Falcons Future out of a Lady Abercrombie. She by Abercrombie. Is owned and trained by Eldon Combs of Oregon, Ohio. Nicely handled here this evening by winning driver Bob Harper. Bob Harper wins the first and wins the final, giving him a driving double. Meadowland Shuffle, new lifetime mark 1:57 flat.